Well, we're back. Step 4 made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. I know you probably have heard me say this time and time again as it relates to practicing the 12 steps to never go it alone. Never do these things alone. I can't emphasize enough that is not more accurate, important, or prudent than when tackling step 4. This is not a step that you do alone. This is something that you are guided towards with your sponsor or your AA spiritual advisor, because making that fearless inventory can be painful. It is one of the most important steps, I believe, because once you get to the point where you're clear enough, you have, a little bit of time under your belt, you're feeling a little better physically and mentally, maybe emotionally you're feeling a little better. This is really the beginning of your spiritual healing. This is your house cleaning. And whether you look in the big book, I think it's like page 62 or 63 in the big book. The big book is, that's the AA Bible, the big book. So whether it's in that or in the step book, your sponsor is going to guide you and tell you what your homework is, basically, on how to write your inventory. One of the most common denominators, regardless of who the sponsor is teaching their sponsee, is to write a resentment list. Write a resentment list, and then looking at our past to see, how are we responsible in personal relationships and things over the course of our time prior to getting sober. And the resentment list is, you'd be surprised at some of the stuff that comes out on that. Sometimes it's something as simple as, when I was in third grade, I resented so-and-so because in third grade they tripped me. Okay? And to some people, that sounds ridiculous that somebody would carry that with them into adulthood. But it's not just that. The way we become alcoholics, it's those little tiny things where people wronged us in our minds, in our disturbed minds. The cumulative effect of all these little tiny resentments, and then maybe, big resentments. I had really big, deep resentments towards my dad. Maybe some abandonment issues, who knows? Well, I know, but anyway. It could be the smallest thing, it could be the biggest thing. Again, you don't do this alone, but the crux of step 4 is to be completely willing to write down, and that's what this is. This is an action step. We're writing a resentment list. I resent so and so because this happened to me, right? That's kind of what our view here is. We joke around in meetings like, this is your last chance to blame people. Right? We joke around a lot because we're crazy, so we try to have fun with recovery, but this is something where we might have some fun with it, but this is a pretty deep step. This is where we're cleaning house. It's almost like we got to get everything, all that bad crap, we got to get out, right? We got to get all this bad crap in because we're going to start bringing in a lot of good stuff. So again, definitely don't do this without the assistance of your sponsor. Okay, and whether it's a resentment list or your sponsor may have you write down just things in your past, like incidents, and maybe you may be told to jot down what your part was in maybe a failed personal relationship or something like that. It could be that. It could be things you did wrong, like stealing or things like that. Again, it all depends on. This is why it's important to go with your sponsor, because your sponsor knows you by this time, knows what you're ready for, and will guide you accordingly. And this, the 4th step prepares you for the 5th step. And we'll get to the 5th step. Don't look ahead when you get to step 4. Don't look to step 5 and be like, oh my God, I got to do step 5. No, this is all about the 4th step. Just focus on the 4th step. Right? Focus on your resentment list. Focus on cleaning house. Focus on taking that inventory, an honest inventory, right? If you don't take an honest inventory and you just go through the motions, you're not ready to get sober. I'm sorry that to deliver that information to you that way, but you're not ready. and you may not be ready to get sober and stay sober. I could tell you this about the fourth step. I've done many. You don't do just one, right? I've done many, and I know most of the people I talk to when they did their first fourth step, we can only remember certain things at first because our minds are still a little cloudy. We might not remember everything at once. And other things may come about and may crop up on future fourth steps. And I think that's by design. I really do. And whether it was the founders of AA or God just kind of giving us a break and not allowing us to remember everything at once, whatever the case may be, you're going to remember what you can remember. Just be honest and embrace what comes to you when you're working this, because again, this is setting you up to start taking in all good spiritual stuff. All right, we got to get out the old and the crap, and we got to bring in the new and the good. All right, step 4, crucial. I know people who were sober for years and never did a fourth step, and they were miserable. All right, they weren't really sober. They were dry. We call them dry drunks when they just don't drink and go to meetings. They don't actually work the steps. Now, some people, for whatever reason, there may be, maybe they're going to therapy. Maybe they have, some kind of medical, affliction, if you will. Like people who are bipolar. I'm not even sure if that's the right phrase to use anymore. I can't keep up with all the political correctness. But maybe someone who's bipolar, they may need to take a slower approach, right? If someone suffers from depression, that's something where you have to balance between talking to your sponsor and your doctor, right? Because, we have to make sure that we're in a good space. And again, that's why it's important to not do this alone, okay? Fourth step saves lives. I'm not even kidding. It saves lives. So, and I don't think it ends. I mean, I haven't done this fourth step in a number of years. I certainly would do one again, but again, and working the rest of the steps helps you not to have to dive in deep all the time, right? Like, for instance, step 10 is, kind of like a spot check daily inventory thing, which is kind of like a fourth step on the fly, where we're kind of, fixing stuff along the way so things don't build up and we don't get resentful and it doesn't snowball on us, right? So but right now, especially when you're new, this is all about cleaning house. This is all about getting rid of all the crap and setting yourself up for a wonderful spiritual journey. So sorry it took me a little long to upload this video. Things have been a little hectic here. At any rate, if you're looking for a meeting, go to aa.org. Okay, you can find any meeting. There's Zoom meetings if you can't get to a meeting physically, but definitely try and get to at least one meeting local to you physically. And if you don't have transportation, just try and get there somehow. And when you're there, you're going to connect with people. You can ask people for rides to and from meetings. You'd be surprised. People are willing to help, okay, because that is also part of the program, helping other alcoholics, okay? Again, finally, do not do this alone. Take it seriously. Don't procrastinate either, because this step 4 will save your life. God bless.